Here's thanks. Good evening, everyone. It is 10 o'clock here on the East Coast, and we begin tonight with breaking news on two fronts. On Libya, late word on what American diplomats may have been told about the threat from terrorists just 3 days before the attack that killed 4 Americans in Benghazi. First, though, what could be a campaign blockbuster. What Mitt Romney said to big money donors about President Obama's voters when he didn't think the cameras were rolling. A camera was rolling, though, and Mother Jones magazine got the video. Here's a portion of it.
There are 47% of the people who will vote for the president no matter what. All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they're victims, who believe the government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing, to you name it. But it's an entitlement, and the government should give it to them. And they will vote for this president no matter what. And I mean, the president starts off with 48, 49, 40, he starts off with a huge number. These are people who pay no income tax.
Now, we got these clips from Mother Jones magazine, which obviously has a political slant. The Romney campaign has not denied the substance of what's in the tapes. In the tape, you hear Mitt Romney saying, "My job is not to worry about those people. I'll never convince them." He also joked that he'd have a better shot if his father, George Romney, the former governor of Michigan and head of an automotive company, had been Mexican. The question now, does the playing of this tape hurt or help his chances? GOP strategist Ari Fleischer is an unpaid occasional communications advisor to the Romney campaign. Also, Paul Begala, who's a senior advisor to the leading pro-Obama super PAC. And on the phone, CNN's Jim Acosta. Paul, you say this is a potentially devastating blow for the Romney campaign. Why?
Well, because the Democrats are trying to push two narratives, and I'm helping them, as you point out. I help the pro-Obama super PAC. And these are the two narratives on Romney that we're trying to push. First, that he doesn't care about the middle class. Well, thanks for the help, Mitt. In the latest CNN poll, by the way, before this gaffe, President Obama had a 20-point lead over Mitt Romney on the question of who's more in touch with the concerns of the middle class. So it hurts there. It hurts on a second front. There's a tax policy center study that the Democrats have been pushing. President Clinton referred to it in his convention speech in Charlotte. And it says that in order to give big tax cuts for the rich, Mitt Romney's going to have to raise taxes on the middle class. Well, when you're complaining to wealthy people that 47% of Americans don't pay any federal income tax, I think a lot of those people, retirees, working class folks, are going to listen to that and think, gee, I guess the Democrats are right. I guess he does want to raise taxes on the middle class in order to help the rich. So this helps the Democrats in two really important ways.
Ari, it's not just someone like Paul Begala. Mark McKinnon, a former ad maker for George W. Bush, said that this tape could be potentially crippling. When you have a guy who wants to be president of all of the United States saying that 40% of the American people view themselves as victims and want handouts, what is that? I mean, how bad is this?
Well, Anderson, let's start with the 47% figure, which Paul did not dispute, which no one's disputed. It was originally reported by the Associated Press, and it's a fact. 47% of the country no longer pays any income tax, and those are the taxes, of course, that pay and provide for food stamps, provide for a whole series of social welfare benefits.
Do they view themselves as victims?
For a lot of redistribution of income. Well, that is a different question. I don't know the answer to that, whether they consider themselves a victim or not, but what Paul very cleverly did was define poverty upward. If we're a nation where 47% of the country is considered in poverty and therefore should not pay any taxes, income taxes, boy, are we in big trouble. Middle class people should be paying income taxes. And that's why it's a difference, because the best way to hurt programs that help people who need it and who are low income is for these programs to grow like mushrooms, to attract such a great proportion of the country that people start to say, the system is rigged, we have so few people paying income taxes anymore, it's not fair to anybody, and that's what undermines support for social programs that we do need in this country. So 47% is an accurate number, and it's a very problematic number, because if you're not paying income taxes and you're getting benefits, you're getting government for free.
But Ari, does it make, I mean, do you not worry that it sounds like Mitt Romney is dismissing 47% of the population as people he doesn't need to care about, as people who want handouts, as people who view themselves as victims and are just sitting around?
I think what Mitt Romney is saying, there's a better way. And the way is through more private sector initiatives and not government dependence. The Democrats are offering government dependence, which we know grows over time, tries to attract more people onto it, and that's why the social safety net has become a trap for too many. The other alternative is through private sector growth by getting the government to create an environment for private sector jobs to grow. Now, the word victim, I would not have used that word. He's right on the 47%. To say that they're victims, they think of themselves as victims. Some might not. Many people are there. Some people are there because of circumstances beyond their control. But the point remains that they're 47% of this country, and that's a figure that was in the 30s when Bush was president. It's grown dramatically since President Obama came into office. Do get government for free. That's a problem. Paul?
The last point is completely wrong. First off, I salute Ari. He's embracing this. It's not a gaffe. What Mitt Romney said is what Republicans really believe. But those people are not getting government for free, Ari. They paid into the government. First off, roughly half of the people... I didn't interrupt you. Roughly half of the people who are in that class are retirees. So they've already paid in, and we don't, as a general rule, for middle income and below, we don't tax their Social Security benefits, nor do Democrats believe we should. Others are working folks who are trying to bring themselves up out of poverty. This is the distinction. Republicans think that retirees and middle-class people and working-class people and poor people should pay more in income taxes. I'll point out that millions of those people who pay no federal income tax pay payroll taxes, which can top out for them, get this, I checked this out, at 15.3%, which is a higher percentage of their income going to Washington than Mitt Romney himself pays on the $20 million on the 1 year of tax returns that he released. So this is the divide here. President Obama is campaigning saying, I want to cut taxes for the middle class and raise them on the Romney class. And now Governor Romney and Ari and other Republicans are being candid, and I salute them for that. They want to cut taxes on the rich and raise them on retirees and working people and poor people, and I think that's the issue we should take to the voters.
It's interesting, Ari, because I mean, remember when then candidate Obama was, recorded talking to donors, talking about how people there's people who are clinging to their gods and guns. That's something that Congressman Ryan is still using right now out on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
Do you see this tape, though? I mean, just even from a public relations standpoint, when you're trying to get as many voters as possible, is this a wise thing to have been recorded saying?
Well, and whether it was a wise thing to be recorded or not, it doesn't change the economics facts and the statistics before us about how this country has created a tax code where half the people in the country no longer pay. Almost half, any income taxes at all.
But you're focusing on that one sentence on the income taxes.
Because that's crucial.
He's talking about victims.
Crucial,
his portrayal of 47% of the population as viewing themselves as victims.
Well,
I think if I was one of those 47%, that might cause resentment.
I already said to you, I don't think that's a word that I would have used. I already conceded that point. But back to the point Paul is making. In Obamacare, they define people who would be eligible to receive a government subsidy on Obamacare as people who make 4 times the poverty level for a family of 4. That's in the $90,000 range. This is what happens. The Democrats could creating these entitlements, these subsidies, providing them increasingly upward in the income scale in the case of Obamacare to the $90,000 range, and trying to hook people on government programs. This is a crucial divide in the country.
When he says it's not his job, to worry about them, do you think he's saying that because
did he say to worry about getting their vote? Did he say to worry about getting their vote or to worry about them?
Well, I think he said to worry about them, but I assume he meant to get their vote because they're not going to vote for him. I don't have the wording in front of me.
I listened to the tape. I do think he was saying he can't get their votes.
I didn't vote. Yeah.
Okay, to get their vote.
Look, I'm as anti-Romney as you can be. I don't think he was saying he doesn't care about those human beings. I think he was saying he doesn't believe he can get their votes.
Let's listen to that. Let's play that part right here.
I mean, that's what they sell every 4 years. And so my job is not to worry about those people. I'll never convince them that they should take personal responsibility and care for their lives. What I have to do is convince the 5 to 10% in the Senate that are independent, that are thoughtful, that look at voting one way or the other depending upon, in some cases, emotion, whether they like the guy or not.
He was talking clearly about their votes, but he's saying that I'll never convince them they should take personal responsibility. So he's saying 47% of the country don't take personal responsibility.
And that's what's so insulting. That's what shows the contempt he has. That sentence, I'll never convince them they should take personal responsibility and care for their lives. He's talking about people on Social Security. By the way, he's leading among people over age 65, so he's actually wrong as a political analyst, but he's really wrong as a national leader. If you're on Social Security or Medicare, if you've earned veteran benefits or the GI Bill, if you have a special needs child who needs Medicaid, he says you're not taking personal responsibility. That is so offensive, and it does shine a light on this sort of arrogant elitism that clearly animates Governor Romney and his views toward his fellow Americans.
Look, I think that's an unfair leap to the conclusion, because he can also mean taking personal responsibility in the sense that they don't have to pay any income taxes that support Medicaid. They don't have to pay any income taxes.
He's talking about them being dependent on government here, Ari. And that's what he means. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, veterans.
He's not talking about the way people live their lives necessarily. Neither you know it nor I know it. You'll take the worst interpretation of it. I'll take the better interpretation of it. But
I just gave him the better interpretation of the previous sentence.
If you don't pay any income taxes, you are taking no responsibility for the payments that go out from the government to support income tax-based programs such as Medicaid and welfare and food stamps and the like. You don't have responsibility for the payments into them. You're getting them for free. That's a crucial debate to have, because the more people who get dependent on government programs without paying, they do have a permanent constituency in a big government.
I want to just for fairness read the statement that the Romney campaign has now released in the wake of the videos. It says, quote, Mitt Romney wants to help all Americans struggling in the Obama economy. As the governor has made clear all year, he is concerned about the growing number of people who are dependent on the federal government, including the record number of people who are on food stamps, nearly 1 in 6 Americans in poverty, and the 23 million Americans who are struggling to find work. Mitt Romney's plan creates 12 million new jobs in 4 years, grows the economy, and moves Americans off of government dependency and into jobs. Jim Acosta, who's following the Romney campaign, is also joining us. Jim, do they see this video as a problem, as a real problem?
Well, if they do, Anderson, they're not really saying that right now. I think the subject heading for the statement that you just read could be no apologies, because Mitt Romney is not backing away from this statement that he made in that fundraiser video. And as you see in the statement released by his campaign, he is basically saying that he believes a dependency on the federal government is a problem. Now, one thing we don't see in that statement, he doesn't really talk about that other video that is causing some controversy that shows Mitt Romney saying he wishes he were elected, that would help his political prospects. I reached out to the Romney campaign to see if they would have a statement on that, and they said they did not respond to my email. At the same time, we should point out, it's interesting to note, the Romney campaign is saying that starting tomorrow, they're going to allow reporters to bring video cameras into some of these fundraisers, not at private homes, but at places like hotels and that sort of thing, to record some of what Romney is saying. No word as to whether or not this is a reaction to what these tapes have shown. But for the last several months, since the primaries wrapped up, Anderson, this has been a problem for Mitt Romney. He has these unscripted moments that throw him off message, and even people inside his campaign acknowledge.
Jim Acosta, appreciate it. Paul Begala, Ari Fleischer, guys, appreciate it as well. Let us know what you think. We're on Facebook. Let us know on Twitter right now. I've already tweeted about this. Join me at Anderson Cooper. Let me know what you think about these tapes. Does it make a difference? Does it change anything? Up next, we have more breaking news tonight. Exclusive reporting from inside Libya, from Benghazi, about a warning U.S. diplomats may have received just 3 days before those deadly attacks.
This interview uses the Cisco Intelligent Network, the platform